Good morning, neighbours. How you going? So my bandsaw's broken. The little rubber wheelie thingamabob snapped, and I'm waiting for that part to show up. So I can't make any lures, but luckily I had a whole box of stuff that I cut out a week or two ago, and see what we can make out of this. So I need to make something I don't need the bandsaw for. I got a whiting swim baits, some glide baits, some divers. Oh, I didn't cut the slot. If I cut the slot, I could have made a diver. I got a top water walker there. That could do. Yes, that could do very nicely. Don't need to cut any polycarbonate for those or a slot, so. Or should I do a swim bait? Glad bait. Oh. We'll do this whiting. This little whiting glide bait. I don't need the bandsaw for it. I can cut the joints with my handsaw, and I can cut all this out. Yep, we'll do that. I don't have many more words to say about this. Alrighty, so if you're not from Australia, you probably don't know what a whiting is. It's just a very common fish in our estuaries here in Australia, and really fun sports fish, really good to eat, and they're also a favourite food for flathead. Mangrove jack eating too. Mulloway. Bull sharks. I don't know what else. So basically it's going to be a glide bait. Yeah, there's not much to it really. I'm going to have to cut these fins out on the top, and it's just going to be getting that weight right and carving some details in. And that was a really, really good explanation of what I'm going to do. Alright, so I just got the fins cut out there. Just try to ignore that saw mark, I kind of went a little bit over. So I got those cut out and thinned out to the center line. And now I'm just going to go through and chamfer it and get the shapes to it. I've been kind of thinking about how I want this thing to work too a bit more. I think I really want it to glide properly, you know, not just like kind of flippy flop like this. I want it to actually like glide. and I'm not sure how I'm going to get that to do that, so that's going to be the biggest challenge. I'm going to leave the tail on now. I was going to cut it off and have it dangling around the back, but nah, she'll be right. So yeah, I'm just going to shape it up, and then I'll try to figure out how to achieve the right action and get the weight in the right spot. I'm not going to mark any lines for the chamfer. It's just going to be a basic age chamfer. Whiting are kind of pretty square fish, tall and square, so that is what I'll do. Alright, there we go. She's got the chamfers done. Now I'll finish shaping her up with some sandpaper, as you usually do when you're making fishing lures. Alright. I've finished sanding the feather smooth, and he's fully finished shaped. Wow, that was a good sentence. So I just got him all smoothed up. Oh my god, I cannot talk. So I just got him all sanded up here. Looks pretty spiffy. And now I'm just gonna mark all the details on him, and then get onto carving those details out, make him look like a little cute little whiting. So I'm just marking the details in here. Bloody hell, what am I doing? This is literally the picture that I cut this fish out of here. You can see they're very silver fish with just some yellows and golds in them. A very simple colour pattern, but they're very beautiful. And I'm just going to mark these details on by hand, just freehand each side, and then I'll get on to carving them out. Alright, so I got it marked out. It's quite symmetrical on both sides, which is nice. And then got some gill details in there. It's a bit messy under the chin here. I'm not going to put these extra ones over here. Just ignore those. They don't exist. And yeah, it's time to start carving now. I just got to mark these guys here too. And then we'll be ready to get going with the knife.
Used to that utility knife. This feels different. It's even a big, like curved, it's a wonky shaped handle, you know?
Alrighty, there's all the details carved in. I still need to do a bit more sanding, but I'll do that later, once before I seal it. What do I need to do now? I gotta put the eyes in. So now I gotta put the eyes in and figure out where I'm gonna put a joint. Or should I keep it one piece? A one piece glide bait? I don't know. Alrighty, I made my mind up. It's gonna have a joint, just one single joint. And now I gotta try to cut this with the hacksaw because that's the only saw I have. I really need to invest in some new tools. I don't have many. Just use what I got. Oh, this is a nightmare. What if I come from this way? Oh. That's a good camera angle of my hand. Wow, I truly butchered that. So it's not too bad at the top, but look at the bottom. That is just horrible. I really need to figure out a better system for this. I'll clean it up on the saw. I'll clean it up on the belt sander, but you know, far out, that's pretty bad. I really need to get my act together and get myself a proper saw and a proper setup for these joints. Alright, so there's all my marks. The 2 marks in the middle, like that's going to be where the hook hangers are, and the rest is going to be lead holes. Let's drill them out. I'm kind of guesstimating the weight right now. I just really want to. I might even need more a bit further up, but just because I really wanted to get it. Instead of just doing, my whole idea with action with this little weight is I don't really want just to be like a little like like sluggish, really minimal movement lure. I really want to try and get it to swim a bit more like this. So that is my plan, but achieving it is going to be the other issue. So, yes. So I'm just going to glue these screw eyes in with some 5mm epoxy. They're 1mm marine grade stainless steel screw eyes, and yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. Alright, I'm just going to let these 2 belly ones set up, and then I'll come do the line tie. Now I gotta go clean this thing up because I screwed it up, but we can save this. Alrighty, we saved it. There we go. That's much cleaner than it was before, isn't it? Give it a bit more sanding and she'll be good. I'm a bit nervous that these hook hangers are a bit too close together, but I'm going to seal it and then I'll test it with the weights in to get the weight right. I'll put the hooks on, and if they're too close I'll pull this back one out and put it back a little bit. No dramas there, that's for sure. Alright homies, this is where I'm up to. I've been sitting here for about an hour sanding. I put the drill sockets. I put the eye sockets in, 6mm eyes. Whiting don't have huge eyes, just nice and natural. Put the holes for the joints, and yeah, that's basically it. That's pretty much ready to paint. Well, it's ready to seal, and I'm going to go give it a coat of sealer, and then that way tomorrow I can test the weights in it and get it sitting how I want it to sit. And yes, it's, as you can hear now, it's raining, so I won't be able to keep filming in the shed if it's raining because you can't hear a thing. So let's seal. My sealer isn't where I left it. That's not good. Oh, I know where it is. Don't know if you can see that, but there's a mama kangaroo with a little Joey in the pouch, sticking his head out. Hey little Joey. He's so cute. Alright, weights in, hooks are on. Let's see how she sits in the water. Still floats. Sits nice and level though. I do need it to sink, so I'll add some more weight. Alrighty, take two. It's better. That's looking real good actually. Looking very good. I think it's a little bit buoyant in the tail still. I think that's going to be perfect. Once I get the holes filled in the tail, it should add a bit more density in there and it should sit perfectly. So that was pretty easy. I'm pretty happy with that. The one thing I think I might do though is just move this hook hanger up a little bit, or this one back a little bit, just because it is very close to each other and they're going to get tangled. As you can see, and I don't want that. Sweet, I'm happy with how that's sitting. Actually, one more test. I had the heaviest weight in the head, and I just moved it back to the centre here in the belly. I'll see how that makes it sit. If it makes it sit a bit more flat. Ooh, interesting. Do I want it more head down or? Yeah, it was better the other way, don't worry. I'd just like to say a quick thank you to everyone who watched the video of my batch of mulloway divers. It just reached 1,000 views, which is freaking insane for me, and it got me like 90 subscribers. So it took me from like 22 subscribers to 111. Is that good maths? Anyway, yeah, thank you. Like, I get stoked when I get like 100 views on my video, but that's just insane. So thank you to everyone who watched it. I really appreciate it. It's cool. Yeah, boy. Hello there. So a few things have happened since the last time I stopped recording. First and foremost, I put a hat on, and secondly, I've got all the lead sitting in there, just super glued in, and I moved the rear hook hanger back a bit more. and it's just tacked in there, and now it's time to go swim test it. See if it actually is going to work the way I think it is. See if it actually works. It's not what I had in mind. Not bad though. Oh yeah, it's doing just what I wanted. If you can see that. I think it sinks a bit too fast. Like a fast retrieve, swims really well. And if I crank it with my handle, I get it to glide. Which is pretty good. Alright, I know how to fix this. It's good, it's almost there, it's almost perfect. Alright, so there's a couple of things that I learnt from that swim test. And the first one is that I moved that reed hook hanger back too far. So I'm going to have to move that forward a little bit just because it's swinging up onto the tail. And it's kind of impeding the action. The front line tie needs to go up more. It's kind of just pulling it down, which is not ideal, and I need to take a bit of weight out. So I'm going to drill some lead out of the front here. I might even put I drill a fair bit out of this one, and I might put a tiny little lead hole up here just to help even the bait out. It sat really even in the water, which is good, and it was so close to gliding. Like I could get it to glide once or twice, and then this would get tangled, and the line tie would pull it down instead of straight. But yeah, very close. So I'm gonna pull him apart, let him dry, and then I'll start working on fixing those problems. Alrighty, I did what needed to be doing. I moved this hook hanger forward, changed the line tie, now it's coming off flat with the head, and I've also put it sitting flat on the body, just like that. And I put a little bit of extra weight up in the head here, but then I drilled out a whole bunch of weight through the body. The reason for that is it was too heavy, and I just felt like it needed that little bit extra in the head, a little bit higher, just to help it glide a bit more. So let's go test it again and see if it's going to work a bit better. Alright, let's see how it goes with the new changes, see if it's any better. Sinks a little bit slower. Swims great on the straight retrieve, but I want it to glide, and it glides a bit better. Still too heavy. Can't even see it. Oh, it glides there. Does good. Yep, I'm happy with that. Very happy. Sweet as. I think I'll just take a tiny bit more lead out, just to make up for the super glue and wood dust, the weight of that. And it's good. Look at the straight retrieve, fast straight retrieve. Tack's nice and straight. Now slow it down, and still got a real nice wobble. Sweet. Sweet as. Tiny bit more lead out, and good as gold. Oh no. I glued it in for all eternity instead of tacking it in. So now it's stuck. Oh. So I just filled in the lead holes with super glue and wood dust. And once they're all hard, I'll file them back. Alrighty, it's done. Right, well. So I've sanded it all back, as you can see there, and I'm just going to go give it another coat of sealer, sanding sealer. And then once that is dry, I'll probably give it 2 more coats of sanding sealer, just to make sure I get, it's quite smooth already, but just to really try to fill in all the imperfections. And then once that is done, then I can move on to painting it. It's time to paint. So I've got the primer on, white primer. It's all sealed, and with the sanding sealer I've sanded it back smooth, and it's looking good. Now let's get my reference photo up and see what colours I need. Alright, so not a whole heap going on. Yellow fins, bit of yellow in the body with some gold, bit of sand, bit of little sandy brown, silver or platinum on the cheeks here. They're kind of a bit more silver than white, but I think I'm going to go with a pearl white body and then put silver scales on it. And yeah, so not a whole heap going on, just a nice silver eye. It's going to focus. Nope. Silver eye, and yeah, just it's kind of a tinge of green in the head here with the sandy brown in the tail. Yes, not super complicated, very simple, but sometimes the simple ones can be hard to make look natural. So let's see if I can pull it off. Alright, as you can see from this, I'm a very organised man. So we got silver, pearl white, don't need you, don't need you. Where's satin gold? Platinum, satin gold, sand, bright yellow, what else do I need? Alright, first things first, then we go to put some pearl white all over the body. Alright, so now I'm going to come in with some bright yellow and really lightly just put it across the body and onto the fins here, as light as possible. I don't want it to really overtake everything, you know, so try and do it as light as I can. Nice and light, and then I'll go with some sand and some gold over that. Alrighty, so now I'm going to put the lightest, ever so lightest coat of sand over that yellow, just to tone it down a bit, and then I'll hit it with some satin gold. Alrighty, so got the yellow and sand on, and I'm tossing up whether to go with satin gold or pearl copper over the body here. As you can see, it's very light, but it's not super dark, and it's kind of doing my heading, what I should do. I gotta put some white in the fins. I think I'll just stay with satin gold, but it's a bit bright. I think I might go with pearl copper just to kind of tone down that brightness of that yellow. And try and make it a little bit more natural, hopefully. So we'll do that. Pearl copper. So you can't really see it on there. It's all these colours that are building up are very subtle. But I did tone it down a little bit and also gave it that little copper flash, which looks really nice. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sit the mesh on and spray some silver scales on. I went pretty heavy with the scales. Like I didn't fade them out to the belly because their scales just go all the way down. They get thicker and thicker as they go down, so no need to do that. Let that dry and then do the next ones. There we go, got the scales on. Bit hard to pick up the detail in this light, but once the clear coat's on, that'll pop. Be nice. Alright, the other side turned out good too. That's pretty much it for the body. And there's not a whole lot more I can do. Could come in a bit more on the top here with some dark colours, maybe a bit of green mixed with some sand. I might do that actually. And then once I fade that top in a little bit and darken it down, then I'll get the paintbrush out and start working on the gills and adding all the other details in and putting some details on the tails and the fins. So let's get on to that. Got very iridescent gill plates, so I'm going to go in there with a whole bunch of platinum and a tiny bit of blue, and then come in with some golds and everything like that, and some coppers, and just slowly build up and try to get some iridescence going on. And then also got to put the spots up here, and might go over there again. I got to put the spots on the fin here, and they need to be a little bit darker in my opinion, so I still might spray those again. As you can see there, my ones are very light, but I could also just paint them too, and then leave the fin lines there nice and light and yellow. But we'll do the gills first and get on to that. See, it's a bit splotchy there, but that's what I want, because once I go over it again with some more platinum and a little bit of gold, it'll get blended in underneath and add a bit of texture to the gill plate there. There we go, that looks much better. Tied it all in a bit. I still feel like the gills are slightly too blue. And it's still my head in. I'm not sure what to do about it. Alright, so I ended up coming back over the gills with a little bit of sand mixed with some dark brown, and then hit it again with the platinum. And I'm much happier with how it looks now. All I'm going to do now is, I think that's about it. I think I might just put the eyes on and sign it and leave it as that. You know, I don't want to overcomplicate this too much and end up screwing it up somehow, so I'll do that, eh? Leave it as it is, because sometimes less is more and I really don't want to stuff it up. There we go, got the eyes in. They look perfect. Really happy with how it's turned out. I'm really keen to get the clear coat on. There you go, she's done. There is the whiting. Try to get a bit of a better look in this light before I clear coat it. This looks beautiful. It's a bit hard to paint with the joints together. Not the hugest fan of it, but hey, if you make a mistake, you got to deal with it, eh? Alright, this is ready for clear coat. I got to figure out how to do that with the joint stuck together and make it sit on my rotisserie right, but I will figure it out. Let's get clear coat and get this bad boy finished. Oi, what are you doing?
Painting.
Putting the clear coat on.
Yep. Oh, so sparkly. Oh, so nice. So, Kai wasn't going to have sparkles, but then I nearly cried, so we got sparkles. Crying works.
It wasn't pretty enough about sparkles.
No.
It's Friday, the week's over, I've finished work early, and my liver's finished. Let's check it out. There she is, guys. The whiting swimbait is all done. It looks beautiful. I'm so happy with how it turned out. Went for a nice natural colour. Very subtle details in the scales, and has a whole bunch of different colours shifting from platinum into the gold, into the yellow, the light browns and the sands, the slight little bit of blues underneath the gills. It just looks beautiful. I'm super happy with how it turned out. Look at that. The only thing that went wrong is I put this little mark on the tail when I was signing my name, but I didn't notice it was there until after I'd clear coated it. But that's alright. No biggie there. But yeah, it looks really nice. I'm super happy with how it turned out. I put the fins on after the first coat of epoxy because I forgot to do it when I was painting. So yeah, that's about all I've done. But look at that. I love the shift from platinum to brown in the gills to the body, and platinum from yellow in the body too. It just looks beautiful. The tail looks nice. Yeah, all round I'm just stoked. Look at that, look at that shimmer, that shift in colour from yellow to platinum. Looks beautiful. Alright, now the final thing to do is to give this guy the final swim test and see if I nailed the action, or, which I know I already checked that, so I don't really need to know, but I know that I nailed it. But anyway, yep, let's go swim test it. Woo! Man, I am super keen to swim this thing. Can't wait to see how it works. It might sink a bit faster because of the extra epoxy, but
I reckon it's going to look brilliant in the water. Let's get down to the pool and test this thing out. Whoops. God damn, that has a good action. I know I wanted a glide bait, but now it's a swim bait, and that's okay. Perfect slow sink, look at that. And that's just a slow retrieve too, and look at all that action. That is perfect. That's going to get me some fish for sure. Look at it. Holy moly. That is brilliant. It does glide too. Oh, it glides too. Not perfect glide, but I'll see what it's like with some rod tip action in it. Ooh. Look at this. Get some rod tip action in it. That'll be beautiful around the snags. Or trying to fire up the flatties. Look at that. That looks brilliant. I'm so happy with how this turned out. That just swims amazingly. Stops and swivels on and you pause it too, which is perfect. And then it sinks super level, so if you fish in the flats, it's just going to sit on its treble hooks on your pause, which is really nice for flathead. It almost suspends. Wow, that is such a good action. This actually turned out absolutely perfect. I'm stoked. I'm so happy with how this thing swims. It is perfect, really. Just has a perfect action. Just a perfect swimming action. You know, it's not like a real still, like side wobble. It has a full-on tail. It just swims like a fish. And I'm very, very happy. Has a super slow sink, nice and flat, so that's perfect because when I'm fishing the sand flats for flathead, it's just going to slow sink down and it's just going to sit right like that, right in its treble hooks off the ground, and it's just going to give the fish that opportunity to come and just crunch it. So really happy, and it swims amazingly at slow speeds, which is really good. Because a lot of baits, you know, you need to really get a fair bit of speed behind them to work, and you know, in Australia that doesn't really work that well for where I am and what the species I fish for, like flathead and mulloway and mangrove jack. Like, you know, you want to be able to slow it right down if you need to. So, especially for flathead, because you really need to give that opportunity to come and grab it. So yeah, it probably sank. I think the end of that pool is about 1.5 meters. It probably took 10 to 15 seconds to get down that far. And by the time it did get down there, it was basically suspending just off the bottom, which is really good. I'm really happy with that. And I can always get sticky weights and add some sticky weights to it if I'm fishing deeper water. I was a bit worried at the start because I was swimming it and it was like, it would swim and then it gets stuck and it would pull sideways like this and it wouldn't swim. And I was like, what the hell is going on? I thought it was a treble hook being caught back here, but it wasn't getting caught, and then it just turns out that there's a bit of epoxy gunk in my joint connectors here, and that was causing it to get stuck and not allow the tail to kick. So all I did was just scratch the bit out and it swam beautifully after that. So I'm just going to clean it out with the X-Acto knife and get it all spick and span, so there'll be no interference in there later when I'm fishing with it. So I'd just like to say thank you for all the love I've been getting on my YouTube channel. You know, I've gained over the last 2 videos like 100 and something subscribers, like 120 subscribers, and you know, my mulloway diver video has almost got like 1,500 views, which is absolutely insane for me. Like, my first goal when making these videos was to get 100 views, you know, and it's just been smashed out of the park. So I'm really grateful and I'm really like humbled by it, and I really appreciate it, especially all the really nice comments people have been giving me. So thank you for that, and I really appreciate it, because I'm not here to prove something or be some big fancy lure maker famous dude. I just want to make lures, and because I love it and I really enjoy making these little videos too. I'm just being myself, and it really gives me good ideas to make things and different things that I wouldn't make usually for myself. So yeah, just thank you, honestly. Like, I really appreciate it, and it just gives me motivation to keep going, so it's really good. But yeah, that is it. I think the video is done, and I don't have much else to say, I don't think. So thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking this video, and I'll see you in the next one, because I got lots of ideas. I'll put my ticker up here.